Welcome back to Happy Breath Creations. I'm Jessie, and this is my channel where we do all things art, yoga, and meditation. It's been a little while since my last video, and I've really missed connecting with you all. As some of you may know, my absence has been because of a pretty big life change. We've recently moved into a new home. This move is a significant upgrade for us, something we've been working toward for a long time, and I'm so grateful to finally be here. But as exciting as it is, it's also been a time of reflection for me. Moving to a new place, especially one that feels like a dream come true, can be a bit overwhelming. There's a sense of starting fresh, of new possibilities, but also a need to stay grounded, to not lose sight of what really matters in the midst of all this change. When you move into a new space, it's easy to get caught up in the novelty of it all. There's a kind of honeymoon phase where everything feels perfect and exciting, but I've been making a conscious effort to stay connected to my roots, to remember what truly brings me peace and joy. For me, that's always been art. There's something so grounding about sitting down with a pen and paper, focusing on the simple art of creation. Drawing these two bunnies, for example, might seem like a small thing, but it's been a way for me to anchor myself amidst all the chaos of moving. The repetitive motion of sketching, the way the lines slowly form into something recognizable, it's like a meditation in itself. It reminds me that no matter where I am, as long as I have my art, I have a way to center myself. Art has always been a refuge for me, a place where I can retreat and find peace. But it's also a way to express what's going on inside, to put my emotions and thoughts into something tangible. As I was drawing these two bunnies, I found myself reflecting on the simplicity of their form, their gentle, peaceful presence. In many ways, they became a symbol for the simplicity I'm trying to hold on to in my life. Moving into this beautiful new home is a blessing, but it's also a reminder to not get too caught up in the external, in the material aspects of life. Instead, I want to focus on the simple joys, like sitting down to draw, spending time with loved ones, or just enjoying a quiet moment in my new space. And speaking of grounding practices, I've also been deepening my yoga practice, which has been another way to find balance during this transition. Recently, I started practicing Ashtanga yoga, and it's been quite the journey. For those of you who aren't familiar, Ashtanga is very structured and rigorous. It's physically demanding and requires a lot of discipline. When I first started, I'll admit, I was a little intimidated. The sequences are challenging, and there's a lot to remember, but as I've continued to practice, I've come to appreciate the structure and the challenge. It's teaching me patience and perseverance, qualities that are so important in all areas of life, especially when navigating big changes like a move. One of the things I've found most rewarding about Ashtanga is the way it pushes me out of my comfort zone. It's easy to stick to what we know, to avoid discomfort, but that's not where growth happens. In Ashtanga, every pose is an opportunity to push a little further, to test your limits both physically and mentally. And that's a lesson I'm carrying with me off the mat as well. This move has been a big step outside of my comfort zone, but it's also been an opportunity to grow, to expand my horizons, and to embrace the new challenges that come with change. I've been fortunate to have a space in my new home that's dedicated to my art and yoga, a little woman cave where I can retreat and focus on what I love. It's a dream come true to have this space, and I've been spending a lot of time here creating and practicing, but at the same time, I'm also aware of the need to stay connected to the world outside of these four walls. It's so easy to get lost in our own worlds, especially when we're in a space that feels so perfect. But I've made it a priority to maintain my relationships, to stay connected with the people who matter most to me. Just last weekend, we hosted a birthday party at our new home, and it was such a joy to gather with friends and family and to celebrate and really connect in this beautiful new space. There's something so special about being able to share your home with others, to create memories together in a place that's so meaningful. It reminded me how important it is to find balance, to carve out time for ourselves while also nurturing our relationships with others. Having that balance keeps us grounded, reminds us that while it's important to have our own space, it's equally important to stay connected to the people who bring joy and meaning into our lives. In my yoga classes over the past few weeks, we've been exploring themes of openness and vulnerability. These themes have been particularly resonant for me as I've navigated this big life change. Openness and vulnerability can be difficult, especially during times of transition. When everything around us is shifting, our first instinct might be to close ourselves off, to retreat into whatever feels safe and familiar. But I've learned that it's in these moments when we feel most vulnerable that we have the greatest opportunity for growth. Openness requires us to be willing to experience life fully without holding back. It's about allowing ourselves to feel all the emotions that come with change, the excitement, the fear, the uncertainty, and not shying away from them. It's about being present with whatever is happening without trying to control it or avoid it. Vulnerability, on the other hand, is about allowing ourselves to be seen, to share our true selves with others even when it feels uncomfortable. It's about recognizing that we don't have to have it all together all the time, and that it's okay to ask for help or to admit that we're struggling. In many ways, this move has challenged me to be more open and vulnerable than ever before. I've had to let go of my need for control, to trust that everything will work out even when I can't see the whole picture. I've had to share my fears and uncertainties with those close to me and lean on them for support. And in doing so, I've found that there's a deep sense of connection and strength that comes from being open and vulnerable. It's a reminder that we're not meant to navigate life's challenges alone, and that by sharing our experiences with others, we create space for deeper understanding and compassion. This idea of openness and vulnerability ties directly into the themes we've been exploring in yoga, particularly the idea of putting positivity into the universe and being open to receiving it back. When we approach life with an open heart, when we're willing to be vulnerable, we create a space for positivity to flow. It's like we're signaling to the universe that we're ready to embrace whatever comes our way, and in turn, the universe responds by sending positivity our way. But it's not just about giving positivity. It's also about being open to receiving it. Sometimes we get so caught up in giving, whether it's our time, our energy, or our love, that we forget to allow ourselves to receive. We might feel like we're not deserving of the positivity that comes our way, or we might be so focused on helping others that we don't even recognize when someone is trying to help us. But it's important to remember that giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. Just as we give to others, we must also be willing to receive, to allow ourselves to be nourished and supported by the positivity that others bring into our lives. This move has been a powerful reminder for me of the importance of both giving and receiving positivity. I've been so blessed to have the support of my friends and family during this transition, and I've made it a point to acknowledge and appreciate the positivity they've brought into my life. At the same time, I've tried to be a source of positivity for others, to share the joy and the gratitude I feel for this new chapter in my life. And in doing so, I've seen how the cycle of giving and receiving positivity can create a ripple effect, spreading light and love to everyone it touches. As I continue on this journey, I'm reminded that change, though often daunting, is an opportunity for growth and renewal. I encourage you all to take a moment to reflect on your own lives. How can you stay grounded in the midst of change? How can you embrace challenges as opportunities for growth? And most importantly, how can you stay open and connected, both to yourself and to those around you? Thank you for joining me today, and I hope this message resonates with you as much as it has with me. Let's continue to put positivity into the world one small step at a time. Namaste, my friends.